Turn our attention to page 15. And we're going to do some translation. We'll start right over here with Stacy to the right, move around the room. I'd like you to read the Greek first, and then we'll translate the Greek. Now, if you want to, you can put your fingers where the vocabulary is. That helps you. When we get on to the next page, you'll want to keep your fingers on page 17, which has vocabulary. Let's just see if we can figure out how to translate the first verse. Read it first. Ekamen. Basileia. Doxes. Akumen. Phonein. No, Aletheos. Okay. Ekamen, Basileion, Doxes, Kai, Akuamen, Phonein, Aletheos. Okay, now we'll translate. Okay, Ekamen is from what? Ekamen. It's in the vocabulary tonight. Well, it means to have. This is a first person plural. We are having Basileon. It's from Basileia, means kingdom. We're having a kingdom of glory. Having a kingdom of glory. Why is it of glory? Genitive case, which means of or from. Okay? Genitive case is of or from. Accusative case, direct object. So we're having a kingdom of glory, and we are akumen. Hearing. We are hearing. Phonein. We're hearing voice of truth. Now let's look at that. And doing these, here's what you need to think about. I sort of did this with you last time, but this time we'll just continue sort of working on it. Let's tackle this a little bit together. I'm not going to use this anymore, so I'll just turn that off. Okay. I'm going to write this on the board, and I want us to talk about how to break down a word, how to break down a sentence to be able to translate it. So here it is. So it's Ekamen. Remember, my writing will not look like the book. Okay, now that's the sentence that you have in the book. Here's what we do when we approach any Greek sentence. This one's getting New Testament the same way. I look at it first of all. Okay, now I'm going to look for certain things. I'm going to look for a verb. I'm going to look for the subject. I'm going to look for an object if there is one. So what order? The first thing. I look for the verb. I look for the subject, which would be a noun of some sort. I look for an object. And look for an indirect object if there is one. Then I'm going to look for modifiers. adjectives of some sort, ofs, something like that, froms, something like that, genitive case. So let's look at it. Where's the verb?
First person.
So here's one word.
First person plural. Acronym and equivalent.
And these are both verbs, right? And what you do is you find out where's the stem on this echonym.
On the connecting vowel is the end.
Okay, so this right here is the stem. This right here is the ending, right? Technically speaking, the omicron is the connecting vowel, the men is the ending. But for our purposes, amen goes easier out of the tongue. So amen. So that's the stem and the ending, right? All right, now I can figure out what that is because the amen's a
First person plural.
first person plural, right? We, you're right. I'm going to find out that's a present, it's active, it's indicative, it's a first person plural. You don't know all that stuff very well yet, but it is nonetheless. It's a present, active, indicative, first person plural. This means it's we, and this means it's have. Why? Because that's what the word means. Echo means to have, right? We have, right? I realize it's opposite, but that's there, yes.
Why is it we are having instead of just we have?
Because the present tense in Greek, its normal sense is continuous action.
Okay, so,
Its abnormal sense is non-continuous action.
okay,
So you read it as continuous unless there's a good reason in the context to not make it continuous action. Now, we use the word continuous, durative, they use that word too, durative, continuous, ongoing. You know, there are different words people use, progressive, but the idea of action is happening. So we are having is the true sense of the Greek, unless there's a contextual reason why not. Now let's look at the next one. Where's the stem? Is that ending again? Amen, aku. Remember, the dictionary form is a first person singular, right? The dictionary form of verbs is always present, active, indicative, first person singular. Not always, generally speaking. I'll show you why a few times now, but for all practical purposes, present, active, indicative, first person singular is the dictionary form always. For our purposes. All right, so right? To have. And here it means to hear, right? We, again, first person, plural. This is present, it's active, indicative, right? First person, plural, we hear. Now, what else do you have? Now, the next thing we're going to do is look for a subject. Where's a nominative case here? Anybody see a nominative? Excuse me.
I don't see one.
There's no nominative case. Because Greek does not need a nominative case because the subject is inside the verb.
So it's basically we is the subject.
You can have a subject stated. It'll be a nominative case. But when you don't have a nominative case, the subject's inside the verb, we. So we are having and we are hearing. Now, is there an object? Object will be in the accusative case. Okay, let's look at it. How do I divide this down? Where is my stem? There's the stem. Same thing with phoneme. Where's the stem? Can you see that? Phonate with the eta at the end is the nominative singular. Right? You'll always have the dictionary form would be a nominative singular form. So phonate. By the way, if you were parsing this, the term is parsing. Like here, you'd say the present, active, indicative, first person, plural, from, echo, which means to have. If I ask you to parse something, all I'm asking you to do is tell me all about the word. Its form, its tense, its voice, its mood, its number, its number and its person, its lexical form, as you saw it, and its meaning. Tell me all about the word, parse it, P-A-R-S-E. Tell me about the word. Same thing here, phone. What I tell about that, I'd say, well, that's accusative, that's a feminine, that's a singular, that's from the word phone, phones, hey, means voice. And that tells me all about that word. Tells me its case, tells me its gender, tells me its number, tells me its lexical form, and it tells me its meaning.
So we include the genitive form in the article, definite article.
I always want to see the genitive form. Nominative and genitive form. Always. When you give me a parsing. You'll understand that more later. Not sure, I don't really know why he doesn't follow that, but anyway. Now, what do you have left over here? You have two words. Right? Doxase from doxa, doxase. Is that mixed form? It's a genitive. So I know this is from doxa. Remember, we've already seen that. Ace, hey, right? So this is genitive. This is a feminine. This is singular. This is from the word doxase, hey, it means glory. That tells me about the word. This right here is also another genitive. Feminine. It's a singular. It's from the word aletheia. Os. Hey. Means truth. Right? So that tells me about the word. See the stem, see the ending. That's how you bring, you only have one word left. Chi, which means and, joins together the two clauses, this and this. Now, that's how you break this thing down, every one. You've got to see what you have. Look for the stem, look for the ending. Whether it's noun or this verb. Let's do the next one. Genoskusin, hati, blepe, alophos, thalassat. Thalassat. Okay, what would you do? How would you figure this out?
That first one's a verb.
Hold on, we're going in order. You're up.
So read it, read the Greek.
Yeah, read the Greek first. Genoskusin,
Hati,
genoskusin, hati,
Blepe,
blepe, alophos, thalassat. Thalassat. Okay, genoskumen, excuse me, I'm wrong with that. Genoskusin, hati, blepe, alophos, thalassat. Okay, now what would you do? How would you figure out what's what?
Just by knowing your roots, you have no, that, or because.
Well, what's the ending? You can look at your verb charts. Usin. That's a third person plural.
And what page?
It should be in your notes under present active indicative.
OU, or before the OU, or just before the U?
The stem is, well, the ending is OU. If you're, as you're saying, I would say Amagadoopsin. The ending is for Amagadoopsin. The stem is Gnosk Usin, right? Do you see where that is? You see what's happening there?
So you got,
Let's write it up here. What are the endings? The endings are O, Ace, A, Am, Ete, Usin. And it can be a new according to what's happening. Okay, now you look at that, what's the ending?
you also, so that's first person plural.
Well, what's first person plural up there? O is first person singular. Ace is second person singular. A is third person singular. Amen is first person plural. Eta is second person plural. And Usi is third person plural. We all understand that? I, you, he, she, it, we, you, plural.
It's y'all. It's y'all. That's what we We learned, I learned to understand text.
So again,
Have you heard of
Gnoskomen is what person, what number. Person either first, second, or third. Number is either singular or plural. So what person is it?
Oh, third person.
Third person, plural, yes. That's the person and the number, third person, plural. So, Gnoskusen, by the way, the reason why you have the new at the end is because you follow by vowel. When you're not followed by vowel, you just don't do it. Just make it easier to say. Very difficult to come to a vowel at the very end and start with a vowel. You'd be saying Gnoskisi,
Ha, T.
yeah,
So is that always the reason that there will be a new at the end?
yes, it's just for sound. They found out when they were speaking the language, it was easier to put a new there than to say two vowels together like that.
Like we do that in English,
Yeah.
like and apple instead of apple.
That's true. That's the reason.
Especially because some of those words already start with two vowel sounds in the beginning.
So what do we have here then? We have Gnoskusen, which means what?
They know.
Okay, they are knowing Hati,
That or because.
that, or because, and you'll hear it means that. We are knowing that, excuse me, they are knowing that.
See.
He is seeing, right? Third person singular. You gotta break down the word, you gotta figure out what it's from. You need a chart that says present active date, always say dominant to, so you need to look at these every time you're working on those sentences, you need to work through it. Now, you've got the charts here actually. If you look in the back of the book, see the paradigms, page 204 following. First declension, second declension, third declension, articles, adjectives, participles, all sorts of other melodic things. And then, starting on page, there's pronouns, here you are. Starting on page 217 of your verbs. See that? Luo, lues, lue, lumen, luetes, lucy. First person singular, second person singular, third person singular. First plural, second plural, third plural. See that?
Do you consider,
Are you with me on this?
I'm on 217, but
Do you
At
see
the
it
bottom of the
do you see it
page.
at the bottom?
Oh, okay.
Is imperfect the same as second?
I don't want to discuss things we haven't really got into yet.
Oh,
You're ahead of yourself.
I just noticed and then
Yeah.
in here, he isn't calling him second, but you said that was important to know.
I will.
Okay.
There's enough to learn each time you do. Each day has enough evil in itself, Jesus said. So, you see that at the bottom of page 217, that is your present active indicative verbs. Plural, first, second, third. Now, based on that, you keep your finger at 217, and you should be able to figure out what blepe is. What is it?
Third person singular?
That's third person singular. It's present active indicative, third person singular, which means he, she, or it is seeing. Okay? Now, what's adelphos?
Brother?
That's brother for sure. What case, what gender, what number is it? Look on page 205 for the nouns. Keep your finger in 217, keep your finger in 205. I guess how many fingers I realize, but 205 is your noun. See the noun logos, logu, logo, logon, loged. Look at the next one. Adelphos, adelphu, adelpho, adelphon, adelphet. See that?
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at this adelphos over here on page 15, which one is it? Keep your finger on 205 and just go back to the the
217.
exercise. 205, keep your finger in 205.
Oh,
Go back to the lesson now on page 15. Adelphos is what?
nominative singular?
Nominative masculine singular, correct. Nominative is a subject case.
Oh, I see. Oh.
Here. So, adelphos is the subject of what?
The brother is a direct object, you mean?
Brother's not a direct object, it's nominative case. To be direct object, it has to be accusative case. Nominative case is the case of the subject. So a subject is a subject of a verb. What is the verb of this adelphos is the subject of? You see any third person singular subject verbs there? Blepe is the third person singular verb. Adelphos is the subject of the verb, blepe. Does that make sense to you?
No. When you say see, it makes, I mean, to say that's third person singular, but I guess I'm not.
Okay, the blepe means he sees.
Right.
Adelphos means brother. Brother, he sees.
Mhm.
The brother, he sees the sea
Mhm.
or the lake.
Mhm.
So look at it with me here.
Okay.
They are knowing that the brother is seeing a lake. And what you need to do is see if you can figure out why that is saying a brother is seeing the lake. It's because brother is a nominative case, and that's a subject. Blepe is a verb, third person singular. And lake is accusative, the subject of the verb. A brother is seeing a lake. Or sea. Yes.
If they don't have a definite article there, for the purposes of just translating these, do we just?
Yeah, at this point, I'm not real picky. Sometimes you can add the article for English sense.
Okay.
Every Greek noun is definite,
Um,
unlike English. We have definite and indefinite in English. Every Greek noun is definite. Greeks use articles for different reasons than we do,
okay.
but I can't take the time to go into that right now.
I knew you could drop off the article sometimes. didn't
I could, for our purposes, right, we're not translating scripture right now.
Right.
For our purposes, I could easily translate this and say, they are knowing that that the brother is seeing the lake. I could say, a brother is seeing a lake, a brother is seeing the lake, the brother is seeing a lake. I mean, right now, we're not gonna go into the sense of why you have an article and why you don't. I don't care how you translate that in respect, as long as it makes sense. Do you understand now why you have it, that one is a subject, one is a verb, one is the object? And you determine that by the case of the noun and by the kind of verb you have, whether it's first person, second person, or whatever, singular or plural. Okay, next.
Cardia,
Cardia,
adelphis,
out of okay, I'm sorry. I wasn't looking when I was talking.
uthele,
Thele,
thele, vestuain,
bestuing,
chati, echete,
echete,
zoein.
okay, let's do it again. Cardia, adelphis, thele, bestuing, hati, echete, zoein.
Cardia, adelphis, face, thele, vestuain, chati, echete, zoein.
Right, okay, good, let's translate. First thing, where's the verb?
Thele,
That's correct.
that's to wish,
Yeah,
or to
and
want.
here it's a third person singular,
third person singular to want,
or wish.
or wish. And
Or
then you
it's a
got
subject. What's the subject?
the bestuain, is that?
No, actually, and that's a little problematic, and that's a present infinitive, you don't know much about it yet, but the cardia is a subject.
That's to believe, yeah.
Cardia, if you look it up, that'd be the case you see it in.
Okay.
Nominative, feminine, singular, from cardia, cardias, hey. It's in the vocabulary. So that's a subject. So right now, the heart is wishing, but then you have a what is that?
No.
So the heart is not wishing.
So it's not the heart of the brother then?
Well, I haven't gotten to the of yet.
Oh.
And we're doing the verb, then we're doing the subject. Okay, adelphis is of, and that's not brother, that's
Sister.
sister. The heart of the sister is not wishing.
To know.
Bestuing means
Believe.
to believe.
That. To have ekete.
Hecate, and you break it
You
down.
have.
O, ace, a, omine, et, usi.
Third.
Second
Second
person
person
plural.
yeah.
The heart of the sister is not wishing to believe that you are having life. That's as simple as it is. The heart of the sister is not wishing to believe that you are having life.
How would say that if that was it? How would you translate that in the Bible?
I just did. That's how
Yeah,
it
but I
is.
mean, but we don't have any sentences like that.
Well, no, because the senses of the Bible make more sense because they're written by people for real purposes. These are just made up.
Using
for the purpose of you figuring out exercise. I guarantee you the Bible makes a lot more sense than these things.
These are annoying.
But you need to work on these characters. See, remember, the writer only has so many possibilities that you know enough about to possibly translate right now. Give him toward the end of the book, it'll be better. Okay, 4.
Ecclesia, Gnoske, Horon, Doxis, Kai, Hemeron, Aletheos.
I think it's good. Verb,
Gnoske,
correct. What is it?
third person singular,
That's correct. Present active indicative, third person singular from
from Gnosko to know.
Gnosko is supposed to know. Good. Is there a subject? Remember, there's always a subject, but sometimes it's stated and sometimes it's understood in the verb. So is there a stated subject in the nominative case here?
I believe it's Ecclesia.
You are exactly correct. Ecclesia is a nominative, feminine, singular from ecclesia, ecclesias, hey, assembly or church, right? Everybody with me? Ecclesia, ecclesias. So now I have a verb, third person singular. If you have a subject that's a singular, it helps, because then it goes with the verb. What if the subject here were churches? Churches he is knowing? Would make sense, wouldn't it? That wouldn't be, it'd be something really weird if that were a plural subject with a third person singular verb. You with me? Your subject and your verb are going to agree. Now, I'll teach you later on that a neuter plural subject takes a third person singular verb. That's another issue. In almost all instances in Greek, the subject will agree with the verb and number. So, the church is knowing. Now, is there an object, direct object of the verb?
The two of them, right?
Well, there is, because there's a chi. Very good. If you have a chi, you have a compound clause. You know. He is knowing this and this. Okay? So he's knowing what?
Horon,
Horon
Hemeron.
and Hemeron. Right. Those are the two direct objects. He is knowing Horon, which is from what?
Horon.
Hora, or just not Horon though. Hora,
Ross.
Horas, hey. Right? Always a dictionary form. Want to hear that dictionary? So it's Hora, Horan, Haras, hey, front, which means hour, is knowing the hour, and Hemeron.
Hemeron's
Mhm.
for day.
Now we got the direct, now we got the verb taken care of, we got the subject, it's not understood that actually is expressed by noun. Got the two direct objects out of the way with the conjunction. All we lack to clean up this little sentence is two genitives, which will mean translated of. So, the church is knowing an hour.
Doxes. Doxos, hey, glory.
Well, dox. Okay, good. Did you say doxa, doxase?
Doxos.
No, this is one of those little.
Is that a?
This is the mixed one.
Okay.
Doxa, doxase. So it goes back, you know, it has a mixture of the alpha and the eta. This is unusual. See?
Is that just something you have to memorize, or is there
Mhm.
rules to learn?
That's why I want you to learn doxa, doxase. You know, it's a mixed one that meant you do that.
The book had a little rule for that, saying that if the alpha or the eta comes after a vowel or a row, that it was regular, but that it came after another consonant, that it was,
Yeah.
it would be a mixed.
Yeah, and so just remember it's doxa, doxes, hey. Yeah, okay, thank you. And hemeron aletheos, what is that?
That is, Aletheia,
Thea, theos, hey. So this is genitive. So it says the church is knowing what?
The hour of glory,
Glory, our glory in a
day of truth.
day of truth. All right, thank you. Number 5.
They, te,
Thelete,
thelete,
legain,
the gain, ele,
aletheon,
aletheon, okay. And then the basili,
basileia.
basileia.
Now notice that you might not pay attention to this. Notice that there's a question mark at the end. Not an English question mark, but a Greek question mark is given in the New Testament. Realize in the New Testament they have question marks. You just have to understand the sense of the sentence. But, so this semicolon is equivalent to a question mark. So, with that in mind, instead of you are wishing, it's are you.
Are you,
See, when you have a question mark, you change it out. Are you instead of you are. So, theletes from what?
from C,
Give me a Greek word. Theletes from
fellow,
yeah, thelo, right.
okay,
Which means to
to see.
blepo means to see.
Oh.
Thelo means
Fellow is want,
to want, wish,
okay,
will.
okay.
And this is then what number and what person?
It's you all. Right?
What now?
You all.
You all?
Right.
Well, I suppose you can say that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, well, Texas, that's how I remember.
Are
I'm
you all?
working on it.
Okay, are you all? Well,
No.
all right, let's see this translation coming out, the cat podcast version. Are you, poorly understood. By the way, the King James, actually the way they used to do it made a lot of sense. The, for example, is an accusative of a singular, for example. And for the second person of a singular is thou. And then second person plural is ye. Remember that? So ye was plural, thou was singular. I'm trying to think what thee would in the third plural would be. He gave to them, that person. And, but they had distinguishing that we've gotten rid of, and now we're trying to come up with something else which has become everything under the sun.
We've got it back under.
Euenses, you, euenses, you, y'all, you guys, and then another other
Say
problem.
you guys is. Your guys.
So all sorts of variations, and we got rid of ye, which is more sensible to have one.
Bring it back. Let's bring it back.
Bring back ye.
Yeah.
That's right.
I want you to agree to.
I can't even get the good church music back. I don't doubt if I get ye back.
How are ye doing? Good.
All right. So thelete, are you wishing? Anytime, madam, just take over. Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's not Adam. It's
No, I was
I'm
like-
sorry. Forgive me, Adam.
Go on.
I'm sorry. Forgive me. I'm hitting the wrong guy.
The,
Are you wishing?
see, are you wishing to see?
You want everything we see, Colby. See is lepo. Fellow is to will, Lego is to say.
Say. Okay, that was it. Say.
Are you wishing to say aletheon
And truth.
Okay, that's a direct object. Are you wishing to say the truth? And here it's not a genitive. As much as you want it to be, it's not a genitive. It's a dative.
So, are you wishing to speak?
Speak or say. Are you wishing to speak the truth? Indirect object.
Kingdom.
To
To
the kingdom.
to the okay. To the kingdom.
From basileia, this is a dative. Are you wishing to speak the truth to the kingdom?
Okay.
Okay. Oh, a nice long one here for Tamara. All right.
Akusin,
Put your emphasis at the right syllable.
Akusin, Adelphos, Kai.
No, no. Ekosin, that's where the emphasis is on the first. Ekosin, Adelphos.
Adelphos, Kai, Adelphe,
Good.
Gain, Kai, Felusin,
That's correct.
Akain,
Okay.
Akain, Basileos.
That's good. Very good. Okay, where's the verb? Or maybe there's more than one.
Akusin's a verb,
Yes. Okay.
and then Felusin's a verb. Oh wait. Yeah, and Akain again.
Okay, good, good. All right, so let's take off the first. This is a little complicated here. Ekosin is what person in number?
Third person plural.
Correct. Now, if you have a third person plural, that means you're either gonna have to have a plural noun to go with it, or you have it, as you do here, a compound subject. John and Mary, they are our friends, right? Not John and Mary, she or he is our friend, see? So with a compound subject, or you have a plural verb. I mean a plural subject. So here you have a compound, which is now what?
The brother and sister are
The
having
brother and sister are having,
the land or the earth, and they wish
they're wishing.
they're wishing to have a kingdom.
Correct. Basileos here is,
Is you mean what form is it?
yeah,
Genitive.
is it? Go through your forms. As, on, now the plural. I own, us, I.
Okay.
So basileos in form can either be a genitive,
Singular.
singular, or accusative plural. Which one is it here?
Accusative. Plural.
Right, because it's gonna have to function as an object of this verb.
Plural.
So it kingdoms here. So it says, the brother and sister are having land, and they are desiring to have kingdoms. One thing to have land, let's get kingdoms. So that's, I realize these sentences aren't great, but I've never known any elementary Greek sentences to be great, so this is not unique.
It'd be nice if they at least made sense.
But you know, it's testing you to see whether you're paying attention to what you've got. Let me tell you, you will never do this without paying special attention to the words. Remember how I broke them down here? You gotta break them down, figure out what you got, And when you do that, it will make at least grammatical sense. It may not be great theology, but it will make grammatical sense. Okay, Grant, next.
Who did das kommen? Who did das kommen? Adele Fane, Luane, Luane.
Yeah. And that's a semicolon, which means the next is like a new sentence.
Did das kommen? Cardian, Pistu,
The student, right? Okay.
Okay, did das come in, and luing are both verbs, so,
And luing actually is an infinitive.
right,
And infinitives function like I want to know, I want to come, it functions with a to, it follows a verb. That's how infinitives work. So this says, the document is what person and number?
first person plural,
Right,
from didasco, which
Correct.
means to teach.
and it has a negation here, not.
So, we are not teaching,
Correct. Now, where's the subject?
it's we.
It's understood in the verb. There's no nominative plural for this plural verb. So we are not teaching
A sister,
a sister, that's a direct object.
Direct
Notice the ain is an accusative, feminine, singular.
and then the infinitive of luo, so we are not teaching a sister to loosen or destroy.
Correct.
We are teaching
Uh-huh.
a heart,
Uh-huh.
direct object and accusative, to believe.
So we are not teaching the sister to destroy, we are teaching a heart to believe. Okay, great. Number 8.
Okay, Grapho, Ecclesia, Hati, U, Gnoskai,
Hey,
Gnoske, Alethean,
aletheia.
Alethean,
Aletheia.
Alethean.
Mhm.
And, the Grapho is the present active indicative, first person singular,
Correct.
and then the, where's that? Okay, Gnoske is the present active indicative, third person singular.
Correct.
And so I think and then, I guess what the important one is looking at ecclesia, because it has the subscript, or I should say,
Which means
alpha, the
it's
subscript, it's dated.
a dative, which is to.
So it's, I am writing to the church because I don't know the truth.
Either one's a possibility. Sometimes it doesn't make sense but one way. But here, I'm writing to the church because it is not knowing the truth, or I'm writing to the church that it is not knowing the truth. Either one makes sense in this context. Sometimes, because of that, can't make sense either way. Just read it. One way, either way it makes sense. I'm writing to the church what? Or I'm writing to the church why? See, because states why, that states what? I'm writing to the church that it is not knowing the truth. That'd be what I'm writing. Or, why am I writing to the church? I'm writing to the church because it is not knowing the truth. So I don't know in this context. By the way, let me tell you something. Sometimes you'll translate the Bible in the New Testament and you'll also say, I don't know. It can make sense either way. Which one? That's why sometimes you put a footnote or you put another translation. Because either one might be right. Sometimes only one thing makes sense. Sometimes more than one thing makes sense. Honesty is the best policy. All right, now, number 9.
Okay. Philais, Gnoskein, Zoein, Kai, Blepain, Hemeron, Doxes. The verbs, gnoskein, looks like it would be a verb, and it would be,
It's actually infinitive.
yeah, so it'd be to know. And then bane would be to see.
That's an infinitive. See a verb anywhere?
Zoane,
Well, that's a good accusative singular noun.
okay. Oh, yes. Thalace would be
Thalace.
a second singular present active
That's
indicative.
correct. Present active indicative, second singular. You singular are wishing, gnoskein.
To know
What do you want to know?
life
Zoane and
and to see the day of glory.
they were right.
That's a question,
That's a
right?
question.
Yeah. So are you?
Yeah. Are you wishing to know life and to see the day of glory? Question mark. Good. Number 10.
Ge kai thalassa gnoskusin hati cardia no card zerbi
Cardia.
cardia
Cardi.
I u pistuosin
Pistuusin.
Pistuusin.
Okay. Let's go find our verb.
gnoskusin.
What kind of verb is that?
That is a third person plural.
Mm-hmm.
So they know,
Correct.
and then pistuosin is also third person plural.
That's correct.
So
It's on the other side though of hati, which means you've got two clauses here.
right.
You gotta keep the verb on each one. So,
So
what is the subject of gnoskusin?
the ge and thalassa.
Gay, kai, thalassa, yeah.
So
Earth
the
and
the
sea, no.
know that the heart is not believing,
Well, if
or is
you,
it?
with the I
They-
ending, it's
oh, the
it's
heart.
plural.
Okay, so
The hearts are not
their
believing.
hearts are not believing.
The plural takes the verb usin as its verb. Plural subject, plural verb. So it says, earth and sea are hearing, earth and sea are knowing that the hearts are not believing. Okay. Number 11. Save a good one for you here, Vin. That's a nice one. That's a question mark too.
Adelphi, Legusin,
Legacy.
Ecclesiais,
Mm-hmm.
Hati, Lepusin,
Leprosy.
Horon,
Mm-hmm.
Aletheus,
Correct.
Ecclesiai,
Mm-hmm.
Akumusin,
Accuse. Okay. All right, we got a question mark. So let's first of all find the verb. The main verb here.
Legusin,
Okay, legusin.
yeah, Legusin,
Now you're gonna need a plural subject if you get a plural verb.
okay. Adelphi, is that,
Adelphi, that's what?
sisters.
Sisters, yeah. The sisters,
The sisters are speaking
uh-huh,
to the church,
to the churches.
to the churches that not. So I guess Lepusin's another.
Verb, but it's on the other side. You have in English we would call this a dependent and an independent clause. A dependent clause is that which is dependent on the independent clause. You could say the sisters are saying to the church, then what they say becomes a dependent. They're saying what? They're saying that
that,
The churches are understood here.
okay, so that the churches would be,
Are not-
don't see or
Are not
are
seeing.
not seeing, are not seeing, Horon, is that hours?
An hour of, yeah.
An hour, theos,
An hour of truth.
okay, an hour of truth, ecclesia, oh, hold on, okay, and then there's another sentence here, so,
And that's the question mark. Since you have a period,
so,
that all to that is a declarative statement, just a statement.
and
Now,
then,
then you have the period, after the period, you have a question mark.
okay, and then ekusen would be the next.
Are,
That would be the next verb, and then it's, are the churches hearing?
correct. So it says, sisters are speaking to the churches
They're not,
that they are not seeing an hour of truth. Or again, it could be because. Is either what they're saying or why they're saying. And then the churches, are the churches hearing? They're speaking to the churches, or the church is hearing. If they were speaking in my church, I would be hearing, because they would be speaking. But nonetheless, moving right along to verse 12. All right, now, I don't want to let my theology show here. I'll do the 12th one, that's sort of easy. Lege phone hati echemen horan zoes. Lege, third person singular, present active indicative. Phone, nominative feminine singular. Phone, phones, hey. So a voice is saying, hati, that we are having horan zoes, we're having an hour of life. Well, we got around.
Feeling about this class.
Huh?
That's what I was just feeling about this class.
I know,
Having
isn't
an hour
that,
of
that's,
life.
yeah, an hour of life. This is life. That's good, okay. Well, since we got through the easy part now, let's read some Greek from the Septuagint. Let me show you how you read this, so you can actually take time to read it. This will be fun for you. Okay, verse 1, or number 1, okay? Kaese in diaspora in pasais tais basileis tes gays. Deuteronomy 28:25. Now, how do you do it? To kai, you know, right? And. Essay, what is that? You don't know. Look over here on vocabulary for LXX and New Testament senses. Right on here, page 17. And look for essay. What does it say?
You will be.
You will be. And you will be in diaspora. And what you need to do is go find that word.
Dispersion.
Diaspora, or dispersion. You will be in the dispersion in pasais, all, in all kingdoms of the earth. Yeah. Now let me just give you a better. And you will be in a dispersion among all the kingdoms of the earth. Because in can also be among all the kingdoms of the earth. So you will be scattered. That makes sense? Okay. Let's look at the next sentence. Edekadze. So what do? You go over here and see if you can find a word. What does it say? Judged. Samuel, heard that guy? Samuel judged Israel all the days
The life
of
his life.
his life. Isn't that great? You're reading the New Testament, you're reading the Old Testament. Isn't that fun? I think that's one of the reasons I chose this book, is it has a lot of reading, and I think that helps you when you start reading and sort of getting a feel for it. Let's look at verse 3 now. Say verse, but number 3. Let's see if that's over here or not. Yes, it is. Okay. Now you could probably figure